The concept of anthropogenic background is well established in environmental regulations. Basically, it's the idea that we have situations where a class or type of contaminants may be so ubiquitous that we really can't attribute these low levels to any particular responsible party. So as an example, you take a soil sample in Chicago, you should not be surprised to find elevated concentrations of PAHs because of the Great Fire. Now, PFAS, given their ubiquity, there really isn't a place on the planet that we are reliably seeing non-detect. In many respects, it's rarer for us to find consistent non-detect concentrations than consistent detections. And so when confronted with that reality, we then have to interpret these low-level detections and understand whether these represent something that is attributable to a distinct local source or is maybe part of that widespread, diffuse anthropogenic background that unfortunately exists on our planet. Complicating this even further is that with the new promulgated regulations coming out of EPA and then also state regulations, in many instances, those are being set below the potential reasonable range of background concentration. So this means you may have exceedances of an environmental standard or regulation that are not attributable to any distinct responsible party. And this is critical when looking and determining whether a site has a source associated with it, as well as differentiating the impacts from a known source versus that background. And so having skilled practitioners who recognize and understand that reality and how to incorporate it into a conceptual site model to reach a defensible conclusion is really key as we move forward into this regulated PFAS world. I think it really just speaks to the brain power that geosyntic can bring to bear on these kinds of complex problems, as well as a willingness to not delineate for the sake of delineation, to try and look forward at reaching a conclusion. What's the end goal? How do we move projects forward? We are looking to solve and advance rather than sort of just tread water.